Mike, always good to see you. As your former intern in 2001 when Michael Madigan was at the height of his power, I know you have more context perhaps than anyone in the state on his political identity. What is your reaction to these verdicts?
Well, Anthony, you were undoubtedly my best intern ever, so I'll start with that. But the fact that the jury deliberated so long and apparently chose to reject some of the government's charges and accept others tells me that they were very conscientious. They looked at this very closely, and as has just been mentioned, the fact that some of these very serious counts involving bribery have verdicts of guilty indicates that the former House Speaker, who was at the top of Illinois politics for about a half century, is likely to face some serious prison time, Anthony.
Mike, as someone who observed and reported on Mike Madigan for so many decades, what was your gut telling you before the verdict came in? Does this surprise you or not?
Well, look, as I've said before, I think when a Chicago and Illinois politician goes in the dock when he or she is indicted facing federal charges, despite what the U.S. Constitution says, I believe a lot of jury members think that a local politician is guilty until proven innocent. And I'll tell you, I think former House Speaker Mike Madigan agreed with that analysis because that's why he took the witness stand. And my guess is that the jury paid very careful attention to his testimony. And, you know, at times when he was on the witness stand, Madigan was always cool, calm, and collected on the witness stand. But there were times when he gave a reasonable explanation for some of the conduct. It appears that the jury accepted his version of events for some of these counts. I think that's why he took the witness stand, knowing that other politicians over the many decades facing corruption charges have not taken the witness stand, and they've been convicted on all counts. I know that Rod Blagojevich's name has been thrown around here during this live broadcast. You know, he was another one who argued to the jury, you know, that he wasn't guilty. And in that first trial, he famously got a hung jury on some of the accounts.
Mike, the Illinois Democratic political machine, okay? Let's just consider that. It's the stuff of legend at this point. What does this verdict say about that machine?
It's been leveled. You know, there's the old patronage-based machine headed by Democratic ward committeeman Mike Madigan, of course, was famously the chair of the Illinois Democratic Party, but his base was down in the southwest side in the 13th Ward. That's where he was the committeeman for so many decades. That machine is dead and gone. This is one more. This verdict, these guilty verdicts on some of these very serious counts involving bribery. It's just another 100 pounds of dirt on the casket of the old machine. Anthony, there's a new machine in town. It's the Chicago Teachers Union and other allies and public employees unions. They are the ones who deliver votes, who give millions of dollars to candidates. The old time machine is long gone.
And Mike, get one more question for you before we get to our own parish shut. When it comes to the findings of this case, where do you feel like the line now stands between playing politics and bribery here in Chicago and in Illinois in general?
I think it's still ill-defined. I mean, we have to take a look at, I'll have to study more closely this verdict, these counts. What was it that the jury declined to convict on? What was it they did accept? It appears to me they accepted a lot of the testimony of former Alderman Danny Solis, a crooked politician in his own right from the near southwest side, who the feds caught in some wrongdoing, and he wore the wire on Madigan. They accepted him They accepted his testimony, but apparently not enough of the jury to be unanimous accepted other evidence. I'd like to study that before I answer it, but that's a great question, and I'll tell you, that's a question that many local politicians are going to be paying attention to as well.
Mike, another burning question, and Anita and Brian alluded to this, is Michael Madigan's age, okay? So he was 79 when he was indicted, 82 years old now. We just saw Ed Burke go to prison. What do you predict in terms of a sentencing here and perhaps a message that the judge would want to send?
Well, I mean, Burke was near that age, and I think got about 2 years. You know, you would look for Madigan to get something like that, or perhaps even tougher. I know that has been very galling for Rod Blagojevich, who before this complete pardon by Donald Trump the other day was just infuriated that he got 12 years. Mm-hmm. But you know, he was in his 50s at the time, if I'm not mistaken, and versus a guy who's 82. You know, a sentence of 5 or 6 years might well be a life sentence for a guy like Madigan. That's going to weigh heavily on the judge, Anthony.
Yeah, and then you have to wonder what 77-year-old Michael McLean is sitting and feeling today watching all of this.